Yo, this is Lawrence D. Adams. I'm actually here walking. Thought about something. When it comes to the dating arena, men and women interacting, one of the things I realized is that the real problem is not so much the race, but the real issue is culture. I know I get bad lighting. It's the culture. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people get caught up on the race factor, but I never dig any deeper and look at the culture, say, of the woman, because this is a man's channel. What is the culture? What is the culture of that particular woman? And as men, we always looking at the outward beauty of the woman, if she got curves and how she looks, and what she is her hair real or not, and things factors like that, and how big her breast is, her butt is, but we never look at the culture of the woman. And what I mean by the culture, we have to look a little bit deeper than just the superficial things or the things that just get us excited in our lower nature. But we need to look at what gets us, look a little bit deeper and look at her culture. What I mean by her culture is, how was she raised? What was the standards that her parents had or she was raised under? Did she come? What was her background? Was her grandmother and grandfather together? What did they believe about marriage? What did they believe about separation? What did they believe about having children outside of wedlock? And when you go a little bit deeper and ask those questions, you start to be more discretionary on what type of women you deal with, not just on how she looks on a beauty side, but how does she looks far as with her culture. And I realized that in many ways I messed up because I was looking on the superficial side, but I wasn't looking on, let me switch over here. I wasn't looking on the fact of her culture of where she came from. When I was younger and I used to date different women, what I would do is I would bring them to my grandmother's house. And what my grandmother would do, she didn't see them come and go. She would ask certain questions. Can she cook? What was her favorite meal to cook? What did her parents do? So my grandmother in essence was trying to figure out the culture of that young lady and then find out, was this young lady good for her grandson? And what happened was, one time I didn't listen to my grandmother and I ended up getting with a young lady that ended up being crazy in my life because I didn't listen to my grandmother, because I was enamored, because this was the girl that was from college and it's the girl I wanted to be with. And I didn't look at that her culture didn't match up the culture that I grew up in. And some people say, well, that seems superficial. That seems like, you shouldn't do that. You're discriminating. Let me say this, and whether you agree with this or not, you need to discriminate who you're going to interact with, who you're going to date, who you're going to bring to your house, who you're going to bring to your life. You need to be so biased. You need to be so clear that some people cannot. They're not going to be part of my life. And I think a lot of guys are afraid to do that because they're thinking that they're going to miss out on getting some. Let's keep it 100. But the reality of it is, if you were to look and examine the woman's culture, where she come from, and I realized, why do a lot of guys want to go to these different countries as far as with the passport brothers? And I said, okay, yes, the women are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But in every culture, there are good women and there are bad women. But if you dig a little bit deeper, there's an underlying thread inside of why they choose to go to other cultures that are not like the culture in the United States. And I realized that's the factor. We're relatively simple. We don't mind we want feed us, good sex, and give us peace. or add to our piece. Everything else is just okay. But I realized the most important thing is check the woman's culture. I know she cute, I know she got the hips, but I'm telling you, I'm saying from experience, you save yourself a lot of headaches. And then the other thing is too, we talking about culture. You need to see it. This woman, some some people, I don't want to say this, there's people in class. Some people, culture is that they do not, they don't keep clean. Let me say that again. Some of them are not clean at all. And so you looking at how cute she is and how she look and her hips and all like that, but she's not a clean woman. Or she doesn't keep house clean. That's a whole nother story in itself. I remember I went to somebody's house, and the first thing I'm looking at is the dishes clean, is the place clean, and then she got any bugs. That's a sure sign of who she is, how clean she is. That's why it's so important to look at the woman's culture, her mindset. Not her culture, but how she was raised. What is her standards? What does she go for? What does she not go for? Because you're bringing that into your life. And everyone doesn't need to be in your life. That's why you need to be very, 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 I can't emphasize that, clear. That some women do not fit in your life. When you realize that, you'll start getting women who fit inside of your tribe. Then tell me you guys don't have any culture. But I don't want to go too far off from that because you guys will start getting your feelings, and this channel ain't for everybody, but I'm going to say it. Some of you guys, the reason why you keep choosing those type of women, because you don't have any culture, no standard. You have no kind of, I said standards, but you have no kind of boundaries for your life. So you accept anything. So you need to check yourself too. The culture starts in you. The woman comes into your culture. If she does not want to conform to your culture, she has to go. Let me say that again. The woman does not conform to your culture. She has to go. And I think some of y'all don't even like to hear that, but it's the truth. That's why you got to have your own culture in place when you start dealing with these women. But hey, this is Lawrence D. Adams. I'm about to get ready to go. I'm about to cross the street and beat this traffic, and I'm out.